No, it's too dang cold in here. Listen, it's getting cold outside, and that means that crap like this is not going to work to heat the garage. We've got to figure something else out. It's 24 degrees outside. It's probably colder where you're at, unless you're down south, and it might be nice outside. But that means it's like 40 degrees in the garage. And whenever you come outside and it's that cold, you just don't want to do anything. We're trying to clean this thing up, make room for the new Chevelle, not keep on plugging things like this in, getting mad whenever a breaker pops because there's so many electronics in the garage nowadays. We're going to throw this out with the trash and we're going to install something better, hopefully, fingers crossed. Let's not forget you. So this is our new solution. I went down to the Home Depot, picked up a Dynaglow Pro D27E. Essentially, this is a 480 or a 220 volt heater. Actually, the part number is EG4800 DGP. Heats up to 400 square foot. Garage is a little bit bigger than that, but pretty close. It's a lot better than the two little 110 units that pull about 10 amps each, because they can't be on the same circuit, they'll trip out. And if they're on separate circuits, they'll trip out other circuits whenever things like Mrs. Garage fires up the vacuum cleaner. I mean, she's a clean freak. The vacuum cleaner runs all the time. We can't have that. So I thought to myself, what's a good solution that will allow me to keep the garage warm and not trip breakers so I can watch TV or listen to music or have laptops plugged in or whatever else I need to do. Mrs. Garage can vacuum the house and keep it clean. We've only got 3 dogs shedding hair everywhere. Well, putting this on my welding circuit. So I've got a 220 or 240, whatever you want to call it, welding circuit outlet on the corner of the garage. And I use an extension cord to basically be able to use my welder all the way into that corner over there, the far opposite side of the garage. That gave me an idea. How often am I welding? Well, not that often. And when I do, I don't need a heater at that moment. So why not get a heater that runs on that circuit that's not hooked to anything else and avoid this problem altogether? So with that, I also picked up an NEMA L620 locking plug. I'll replace the plug on this unit and then I'll be able to plug this into my extension cord. So if I want to put it on the ground and move it around and heat up one particular side, I can. But ideally, I think this thing's supposed to come with a bracket so you can hang it from the ceiling, get it out of the way, and just leave it on and let it heat up the garage. Now, you gotta remember, this is a 20 amp unit, but whenever you're talking about 220 versus 110, the amperages are halved on the higher voltage. So this is equivalent to a 40 amp 110 unit. So we're going to get a lot more heat than we did from the 2 heaters that were always tripping breakers, and we're not going to trip breakers anymore. So let's open it up. Take a look at what we got. What we need to do should be a fairly simple setup process, I hope. And right away, I'm happy to see we've got our bracket to hang it from the ceiling. So I don't know, maybe right here in the middle of the garage, but then I would have to have my 220 extension cord. So maybe over by the tool area, but honestly, right there would be just so ideal because it would just plume out the heat to both sides of the garage. And you know, if we change our minds, we can always move it. The question will be is how easily we can get the extension cord out of the way so we're not tripping over it. I already have a bad enough time tripping over things. The garage is a mess. I'm about to throw away so much stuff out here in anticipation of getting the Chevelle in. I've got to get the Nova from this side of the garage to this side of the garage because there's a little bit shorter car space, so we'll put the longer car over here. Oh, and the thing comes with a bolt to bolt the handle to this whenever you get hung. Cool. Instructions, warranty. We're going to be voiding the warranty right away by putting a new plug on the end of it. And it's a fairly small compact unit, which I like. So, let's see. I really want, what I care about is on the back side here. Okay, there's just one thermostat knob on the back. I thought there was a high-low switch on this thing, so it had a 2 wattage mode, but apparently it does not. And then it's got a couple lights up front, power and caution. So who knows? One's orange, you would think that'd be caution. You'd think red would be power, but at the same time, okay, this is good news. The extension cord is decently long, or not the extension cord, but the actual plug for this thing is decently long. So let me go grab my stuff to cut this thing off, and we'll throw the new end on it. Listen, if you don't have a set of these, what are you even doing with your life? I mean, cutting big cables like this, cutting AN fittings, all that stuff, it makes your life so much easier. And essentially what you're going to have in here is 3 wires. Do not remove this tag. Don't tell me my business, devil woman. You're going to have 3 wires, a white, a black, and a green. Obviously your green's your ground, and white and your black in the 220 situation are both hot. So we can come in here. Yeah, I know this is not the correct way of doing it, but I don't care. It works, you've done it, and if you haven't done it, you've not done any electrical work. And I'm going to need a screwdriver, and I didn't grab one. I'll double check, make sure I didn't. You'll see what I'm talking about. The front comes off of this, and we thread the wire through the back side, make up the connection, and you can't really mess this up. And I like to use these locking ones specifically so I don't have to worry about coming unplugged from the extension cord, or the extension cord being unplugged from the outlet. So we can feed this in. We'll go ahead and just drop this out of the way for now. And if you look at your connector, make sure that this thing is kind of in focus. A little bit hard, there we go. One of the screws is going to be green. So then you got an X and a Y. Doesn't matter, white or black. Whenever you're dealing with this, you don't have a neutral. You've got 2 hot leads. That's what makes a 110-220. You're using 2 110 hot circuits without a neutral. Since these are stranded wires as opposed to solid core, you want to make sure and reef them. And it sounds funny because that's where you twist them like you would a doobie or something. So we'll go ahead and land our green first. Make sure that your back is on. Before you do this, the back side of your shell, your plug, good and snug. And then just the next one, whichever one fits best without the least amount of strain. Now we probably should have measured this back shell to make sure that we were going to be covering the insulation whenever this is all said and done. I should have cut those wires a little bit shorter, but I don't care, to be honest with you. Wires weren't short enough. I'm going to kind of push this up in there, give it a little bit of a twist, and then make sure that the strain relief is grabbing on the insulation. Okay, there we go. Good strain relief, good plug. Let's go grab our extension cord and test this thing out before we stick it up on the ceiling. Okay, we got our extension cord ran. It's plugged into the wall. Find the locking connector, and there we go. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. There we go. Orange light is on. Turn the thermostat up. Okay. Give it a second to spin up, see how loud it is. There, now we're really moving some heat. Okay, now that we've got it operational, I think hanging it in the middle of the garage, about right here, is going to be the way to go. Our extension cord, even without the drop on that, we've got plenty of room. We can tuck it up next to the garage door opener, and we've got a nice wooden beam going through here that we can attach it to. So that's what I'm going to do. Now it gives us a couple bolt holes through here in which to do it. They're really big though. I guess I could, I don't know. They're bigger than I'd like. The only other issue is, man, that's within noggin knocking range right there. So I am going to probably hit my head on it multiple times, especially because we do walk through this area so much. Okay, we do have the ability to wall mount this thing also and bolt it through this hole. So I'm thinking maybe if I just do it about right here, that'll limit how far I can swivel this, but honestly it's a 50-foot cord. It'll get anywhere I need to get in the garage. So we can just hang the unit down right here. It'll be out of the way, I won't walk into it, and then if need be, we can always just take it off. I may not even use the bolt, I may just hang it and let it hang. Perfect. That ought to be stout enough. Whoa. So, there we go. Go ahead and grab that bolt. Honestly, I don't even think I'm going to run that bolt in. Just use it to kind of keep it supported. Now that I can get all of my cable out of the way, let's fire this baby up. It's actually not touching over here, which is nice. I don't think there's any reason for the bolt. Let me know what you think. Hit up the comments. That seems to be pretty steady right there. We're moving some heat. We'll, I don't know, give it an hour or so and see where our temperature's at. It says we're up to 51 degrees. That's because all the lights and me running around in here just sweating. But hopefully in an hour or so, I'll be able to work without a hoodie on. Okay, so we've been at heating for about an hour now. And as you can tell, my microphone's right here. I'm standing right next to it. This thing is not loud. In fact, I've had the TV going in the background. I can hear the TV perfectly fine. And we went from 51 to 55 degrees in about an hour. Remember, whenever we started, it was 47 in here. So, all in all, I'm getting about to the point where while I'm cleaning up here, I'm going to need to take off my hoodie because it's getting a little bit warm. So, pretty happy. 100 bucks over at Home Depot, plus, you know, $8 for the connector if you need one. And the bonus is I haven't had a single circuit breaker trip in the last hour. I've never been able to run a heater this long without problems, but I'm going to get back to cleaning up, making room for the Chevelle. Hopefully this helps you guys get out in the garage, get active, all that fun stuff, get tuning. You know the drill. ABT, always be tuning.